Wisconsin Broadcasters Association Hall of Famer Bob Berry ruled Milwaukee's airwaves in the 60s and 70s. He spoke with countless musicians and celebrities over the years. Bob collected remarkable recordings of these encounters, which he's now sharing with the public. Here's Bob.
Today's podcast goes behind the scenes of an actor, producer, and former undercover operative, Steve Collura. Before stepping in front of the camera, Steve spent several years working deep undercover in organized crime investigations, living another identity, gaining trust in dangerous circles, and helping law enforcement bring criminals to justice. Steve took those real-life experiences and brought them to the screen. He has seen both sides of the action and has stories to prove it. We have seen that in Night Heat, Serpico, Riptide, Policewoman, and others. His story was told in a book, Collura, Actor with a Gun. Collura's life as an actor and undercover agent are dramatized in the movie Between Love and Honor, available for free on YouTube and Tubi.
Steve Collura is on the air with us right now. And Steve, I noticed that you just yelled to the door, "Come in." I would think after the life that you led that you would check out who's at the door before you say, "Come in."
Well, that's one of my bodyguards, so it's okay.
Oh, all right. Steve Collura is the subject of a book called Actor with a Gun. It's the true story of his life. He was an actor by day, undercover agent by night. Became so hooked on the thrill of danger that with each assignment, he narrows the margin between life and death. And boy, this is some kind of book. If you like an exciting book, this is it. Steve started out as an actor. When were you an actor off-Broadway in The Doctors, Steve? What year was that?
The Doctors was 1969 to 1971. I ran 2 years on the show.
Well, when were you discovered by the police department? When did they decide to...
Well, I was discovered in 1968 performing A Hatful of Rain off-Broadway in New York City, playing Johnny Pope, the drug addict.
And then they were so impressed at what you did with this part that they decided that you should be on the force. Is that what happened?
Well, that's the way they told me it.
Okay. Now, when you apparently you continued your acting, then at night you were a narcotics agent. Correct?
Well, actually, yes. My acting has served as my cover all during the day, especially when I was doing the soap opera. And I would, go to the studio and do my show, and then at nights I would roam in the city, up in Harlem, in Spanish Harlem, in Bedford-Stuyvesant, in Brooklyn, and make drug buys and infiltrate organized crime. And again, the cover that I was had and maintained as an actor was excellent for me because it enabled me to infiltrate the different areas of the city as just being a recognizable actor.
Did you love this kind of work? I mean, being an actor and then going
Well,
out
I
into
did, and I tell you, Bob, it's a point of I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. I guess I don't guess I know I'm a street guy, and I'm just used to the excitement of the street and being up there in front in the action. So this combination of the both lives really was terribly exciting, but I look back in retrospect and say I don't know if I would do it again because it was very hair-raising at times.
Did you try drugs at one time? Were you into it?
No, I've never tried drugs at any type, form, or shape.
Uh-huh. Now, the biggest case of all was a French connection. This is when you quit, wasn't it, right after that?
Well, I resigned after this case in 1973 for many reasons. First of all, what I'm doing now besides full-time acting, I am also involved in an anti-drug program across the United States in the schools. It comes out of some of my earlier work as an undercover agent in New York City. I busted some of the very largest cases within the school systems of guys, drug pushers coming onto the campus and selling to the kids. So that always remained with me, and I feel with my experience and expertise in that line, if I can do some good, which I hope to do, it is to give back to the kids and tour the schools and try to show them what's going on in the streets and what narcotics is all about.
For those kids listening this morning, what would you tell them? I know you can't go through your whole speech, but is there something you can tell them?
Well, I would just tell them that this is the point I make in all of my my talks to the kids is that, they all get pressure from their friends on the corner and their peers. But let me tell you, it's hipper not to take drugs, and it's just hip to be the type of a guy or a girl to stand up and tell them, listen, I don't need that.
Okay, what do you tell them about alcohol when they bring that up?
Well, alcohol is a whole other thing, which I don't get into, but I don't advocate drinking either. I mean, as young kids, I don't think we have to need any kind of outside stimulant to get us going. We have enough energy and life, thank God, within us to combat any kind of problems that we have to endure.
Now, a lot of these guys want to make sure that you were on the level, I'm sure, that you were one of the boys. And people buying drugs sometimes are forced to take them in front of the seller. Did that ever happen?
Yeah, that happened on a couple of occasions. One occasion I remember very distinctly. I was up in tenement up in Harlem, and I was with the three guys in a room, and they bolted the door behind me. They pulled a gun out and told me to sit down and shoot up in front of them. Well, at this point, again, I innovated a few new things as far as undercover agents used in the field. And one was a little tiny ball, a sponge ball, that I put in the crack of my arm. And I literally shot the heroin into the ball without injecting it into my arm. Now, this is a very difficult, very hairy situation, but at this time, I mean, they had a gun to me, and I wasn't about to say that I wasn't going to shoot it. So it went into this sponge ball, which I put together a year before, anticipating some kind of a situation like that I would get in as far as this was concerned.
Where was it? This, I mean, how was it actually?
Well, I only wish I could show you, but it was put in the crux of the arm where your elbow bends, and when you're shooting up, the injection, the needle itself, the point goes right into the sponge, and what it does is suck in the heroin.
Ah, okay.
It's a very hairy situation. I don't recommend anybody trying to do that, but this was a life and death situation, and I had to take immediate action.
How big is this sponge type ball?
Oh, it's about the size of a nickel.
The big question, we've been talking about this all morning, that it says here that you were shot in the head 3 times. Was it 3 times?
No.
Oh,
I was shot in the head once.
All right.
The back of the head.
That's enough. You know, a lot of people wonder, well, how can you survive if
Yeah, well,
shot in the head?
if I can run that down a little to you, they got me up in a tenement, and they were looking to execute me. They got me down on my knees, and they had a gun to my head. Now, as the guy was jittering the gun to my head and knocking it in, the angle of the gun was going to the left. So in essence, what it did was catch the back of my skull, and that's how I survived it. In other words, if this man wasn't so coked up on heroin and so out of it, if he would have pointed the gun the way it originally was, it would have blown my brains out. I wouldn't be here speaking to you on the radio.
What kind of after effects have you had?
Well, I had a hospital stay and all, and I really don't like talking about it because it's something I don't like recalling. But I thank God, and God was on my side and with me. I recovered fully from it.
Now, you managed to kill some of your assailants at the same time.
That's correct. The 2 men who were in the apartment, I unloaded my weapon into them.
Uh-huh. So you're out of it completely now, as far as...
Yes, again, I resigned in 1973, and I kept silent for 4 years, but I do believe there's a story to be told in, and not necessarily a cop story per se, but a story about a young guy growing up in the streets, and to share his experience with all the other young guys growing up in the streets across the country, young guys and girls, I want to say.
Okay.
Because, again, we're living in times where the streets are a hard knock, and we had to go out there and deal with them. And if we don't have an education or someone at least sharing their experiences and their knowledge of the streets with them.
How old are you now, Steve?
I'm 31.
Is that your picture on the cover of the book?
That's correct,
I would imagine it would be. Okay. All right. Steve, it was nice talking to you. This is quite a book, and like I said, if you like excitement, this is a book. It was written by Bill Davidson. You told him the story, and he wrote it just as you told it to him, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Steve, are you going to be in town long?
Well, I'll be in town for a few more hours, and I'm flying out.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you can come back and come into some of our schools in the future.
I sure would like that.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye now.
Steve Collura, Actor with a Gun, is the name of the book by Bill Davidson, and he is the subject of that book. He was an undercover narcotics agent from 68 to 73. Shot in the head, didn't like the title, blame him for not wanting to talk about it. Man, it must have been some experience.
Bob Berry. Thank you for listening to Bob Berry's Unearthed Interviews. Be sure to subscribe and rate our podcast wherever you find your podcasts. You can find all our episodes at WisconsinBroadcastersMuseum.org. Check out Bob Berry's book, Rock and Roll Radio Milwaukee. Book sale proceeds support Donate Life Wisconsin. Special thanks to Wisconsin Historical Society and for financial support from WBA Hall of Famer Terry Bond.